Immediately after recording the first introduction, I immediately just switched on again to actually show you how we get started with these applications. So here's the thing, right? Blackbox is installed. We have everything ready. Although I need to also upgrade this to the, I think I need to upgrade this to the $4.99 a month, which is, I don't know what features it has. Looks like we have this as the best AI coding agent, pay as you go, 125 pro agent request. 125 is a lot. I think it may be enough. Unlimited base agent requests, unlimited code completion. Choose any AI model, that is OpenAI, O3 Mini, GPT-4o, any that you want. And the one for $19.99, this is the one that is 555 pro requests. I think this is more reasonable. However, we're going to try and start this application using Claude Code. So what do we do when we want to start an application? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we always go to Laravel HUD. Laravel HUD is always been my go-to project starter. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add. I'm sure I started something similar. Here it is, Hotelier. I'm just going to delete it because I didn't start coding it whatsoever. So now that we move on forward to adding this site, right? We're going to go to new Laravel project. We're going to select Livewire. I prefer Livewire for all my projects. And then we're going to come in here and say project name is Hotelier, right? So with Hotelier, as my name, that is going to be the name I'm going to give this. I'm going to have install Laravel Boost. I'm also going to initialize a Git repository. We're going to use pest. All of these are very important, especially with Laravel Boost, because it now gives our AI module or our AI agent a way to be able to go through our project without having to consume a lot of tokens. It knows what our project is about very instantaneously. And, you know, I don't know if you guys understand what Laravel Boost is. I think I should go back to looking at what it entails. So here it is. We have boost your development with Laravel's AI assistant, as you can see. So now you can see Laravel Boost accelerates AI-assisted development by providing the essential context and structure that AI needs to generate high-quality Laravel-specific code using any agent. So we're going to go ahead and create this new site as it's creating. I think we can, we can start thinking what it is that Laravel version 4 is going to have in store for us. First thing I would like to go to do is ask if, is Vault in Laravel 4. You can see Vault remains available as a separate package for its specific functional API style, but Livewire 4 includes native built-in support for single file components, which reduces the necessity for separate Vault package. So essentially, we don't need Vault because we don't need Vault. Yeah, great. So let's see. We have components here. When we create a component, make Livewire post create, we have these. Okay. We have this, it creates this, and it moves on forward to this. And how do we register it inside our routes? Now that's the question that we need to look at. Because you can see, we can either post this to a multi-file component or a single file component. And single file components, I think, are the default. Should be the default. Yeah, it should be the default. And I think that is the way to go. I think I like that. And then I can see, we can do it like this. It's coming clear. It's coming clear in how to go about it. So let this project start, and we can be able to do quite a bit. Now we are up to this point, and let's just start building. I think we just go ahead and and open this in VS Code to test out what Blackbox has to offer. So let's begin. I'll just go ahead, open this in VS Code. At the same time, I'm going to open this here. So the front is going to generally have, okay, it's not going to have anything. I think what we'll do, we'll build the website separately off of this system. But if we want better results in terms of the UI experience, we should be able to build this together. So the website should be on top of this, and then we should also have the like the app itself like work on the back end completely. Okay, so let's start by, first of all, let's look at the structure that we have here. Of course, we have our Blackbox agent over here. I'm just going to put this on this side. And then we have our app structure on this. So we have Blackbox, we have Claude Code, we have GitHub Copilot already on standby. Let's use Blackbox. We see what's going on over here. So essentially, I don't know if we have a free version of Blackbox. So if I come in here, view all features, we only have, I'll just come in here, open this, and I'll choose continue with Google. Okay, and then it says you need a premium plan to connect your IDE. So we need to go to pricing, and we can definitely see we have the $10 one, we have the 20, and we have the 40. Then those are the monthly ones. Then there's the yearly one, which is $8 a month for 12 months, which is quite decent. But let's try the monthly one, and let's actually pay for this monthly one, and then we see how things go. Okay, so I managed to do the thing, and you can definitely see we have the Blackbox AI agent. It's ready, and we can open this up. So now you can see we have the option of purchasing more credits. So you can top them up, but we just continue. Right, so I'm just going to go ahead and close this. Yeah, and then we can essentially ask Blackbox to do anything, right? So we have Blackbox ready. We have our MCPs ready with the boost. And what we just want to do is we want to start by defining the departments, right? So I'm just going to talk to Blackbox here for a second. I'm just going to tell it that, this is a hotel. This is a hotel OS that I am building that starts off with a website, but the admin part, it links up to all the various departments of the organization in question. I wish to start with the admin parts, keeping in mind the following departments. So now I come in and start listing the departments. We start with the front office. Let me just check all those other departments. So we have the front office. We have housekeeping. We have restaurant. We have the kitchen. We have what else? We have fleet management. We have security. We have we talked of I'm sure we talked of okay, so we talked of front desk, procurement, restaurant, kitchen, fleet, security, housekeeping. Let's also include accounting and HR. Makes sense. And then we look also on a possible linking force HRM. So all this makes so much sense in that this is the whole conglomerate of the hotel. This is what's going on in the hotel, operation-wise. Um, Now, what else do I want to ask it, right? Um, in the main hotel, I wish to link it in that there is a restaurant ordering module and a booking and a room booking engine module. So let's work out a plan that we can use to build this in its entirety. And you might find that all we're just doing is building CRUD from the ground up, and then in the process we'll be able to use the logic of the CRUD to be able to work out various figures, because that's essentially what we want to build. I don't think there's anything else that we might want to build that is entirely different. All right, so I'm just going to hit enter. Let's see what happens. I'm just going to zoom in and we'll be able to see what's going on here. This is interesting. It shows even like on the basis of all the various departments, and then it also builds like it's showing us, it's showing all the edits that it's making on this side. This looks quite nice. Oh yeah, and then we can also, you see, there's auto approval and there's manual approval here. We can select the AI model over here. We're using Blackbox Pro. There's Grok Code Fast, which is quite nice. And it's free, but we're using Blackbox Pro because we are pro users of this. And it combines all the specified models just as it said, which is quite nice. I like this. I like this. I like the way this has done everything. So it's taken each and every single department. So restaurant ordering module, all those different things. It's defined the database tables that it's going to be using. This is quite nice. It's even adding more ideas. It's building everything, including the planning and all that stuff. That's quite nice. So essentially, now all you need is an idea and black box, and that's it. And then it comes in and tries to validate that idea for you. It also gives you a step 1 to step 50, and it's working things out very, very well. That's according to my perspective. I mean, all of you guys can try this black box, and you see what goes down. Excellent. Now let me create a quick start implementation guide to help you begin. That's impressive. This is looking good. This is looking good. As you can see, it's doing the migrations, it's doing the models themselves. It's very, very, very nice. Okay. 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 So we are at a different point over here. And I just want to review what this has particularly done. So the summary of the work that is completed so far is it's created documents. There's the Hotel OS development plan, there's the project roadmap, there's the implementation guide, and then there's the to-dos. Okay, so all these files, we have the Hotel OS development plan. We can definitely see the DB tables. We can see the for all these different sections that we mentioned. So there's the restaurant ordering module, there's the room booking engine. Now we have the admin system department modules, and then we have all these like the housekeeping department, like the restaurant department, all those different things, right? And essentially that's just the plans of what it is that we need in terms of like all the tables. We have fleet management. You can see you can see literally everything has been accounted for, even CCTV integration. Okay, I never anticipated CCTV integration. I never anticipated, like when we come to the fleet management area, driver management profiles. We never anticipated certain areas here. Like let's say, for instance, here in the restaurant department, When we're coming to reporting, we have the daily sales reports, we have the popular items analysis, things like that. And most systems don't have this, especially the popular items analysis. There's waste management as well. In case, like, let's say guests, they don't want to finish their food or something like that. Floor plan visualization for the table management, which was one of the projects that I wanted to run. And essentially, we're accounting for every single thing that could be, like you can see this, even 4 HRM integration points. I put this into brackets. I didn't anticipate that Blackbox would know exactly what I'm talking about. But it actually does, which means like my site being online allows Blackbox to be able to go ahead and search what it is that I was meaning, and it actually understands everything. So looks like we're in good spirits at the moment. Look at this. And then we have database tables. We have employees, departments, positions, contracts, attendance records, leave requests, things like that. Then we have the database architecture. We have the core tables, which is the users, roles, permissions, role user, permission role, all those different things, right? But what I also want to do here is I want to also give room for multiple authentication cards in such a manner that the admin section is not it. It's not just it for all the admins and all the users that are particularly there. There should be multiple authentication cards allowing this card to access this section, this card to access that section, things like that. And I think this plan looks very implementable. You can definitely see even the file structure has been given. So even from the model side of things, we have front office, guest, booking, check-in, room assignment. You see, like they have also sectioned the models, right? So in such a manner that they're not all in one file, but we know which models deal with what. And I think it's very important that is how we go about things. Yeah, I think we're moving very well. You can even see the database migrations. We can see the seeders. We can see all those different things, right? This is quite nice. Then it also has a testing strategy. This is very unique stuff. All right, so let's look at the summary again and let's see what the next steps are. So the next steps, it says that you need to review the comprehensive plan. We need to check the roadmap. We need to follow the implementation guide when we're ready to start, and then we need to use the to-dos to track the progress as we build. And when we're ready to start implementation, you can begin with phase 1, follow the step-by-step commands in implementation guide, and then refer back to the comprehensive plan for detailed specifications. In the implementation guide, I can see that they've grouped these models, right? So essentially, what should be happening here is these commands shouldn't be models than front office, right? Because if we look at our app and then we look at models, right? We have models, then we have user. When we're creating a model, make model, it goes already directly to the models file. So we don't need to have models here. That is one thing. So I'm just going to get rid of that. And boom, we're good to go. And then the next thing that I've realized also, you see, that's just step 3. We need to go back to the first steps and let's see what it tells us. So step 1 is the environment setup. So it tells us that the prerequisites need to be set up very well. And of course, our prerequisites are set up very well. We're using SQLite, of which we need to change. That's another thing that we need to change. Okay, so when we're changing, it will be best to use Postgres because that's what most servers use by default, like most of the online servers like Laravel Cloud, for instance, uses. But I'm not dealing with that. Honestly, what I want to do is deal with shared hosting, which uses MySQL. So we're going to come in here and open our MySQL workbench. So we'll open Workbench and we'll create that. So we have our local host over here. We'll open localhost. We have our database tables, various database tables over here with all those. So I'm just going to come in here and we're going to come and let's say, for instance, we want to create a database, right? So we'll come in here, create a schema, and then we name the new schema is going to be Hotelier. So we have Hotelier. We're going to hit enter or even apply, and then apply, and it's going to execute and then finish. So we have Hotelier over here. So now when we go back to our .env, what we're going to do here is we're going to change our DB connection to MySQL, and then we're going to remove all these. So essentially what's going to happen here in the DB database, and just like to keep a space over there, we're going to put in our DB database, we're going to call it Hotelier. And then we have passwords to access this part over here, but let's just try it out first with a little bit of a PHP artisan, and I don't know why I'm in caps, so PHP artisan migrate. Let's see what happens. It will tell us that the access is denied for root at localhost. So the reason why it's denying that is because I have a different user over here. So the root, and there's a root and there's a password. So I don't know, maybe I'll just try one of the passwords that are currently there. But honestly, if we want to make this best for testing purposes, I'll just do workbench. We have root, and then what I'm going to do here when I edit the connection. So in localhost, there's the username and then there's a password. If I come in here, the user's password will be requested later if not set. If I come in here and clear this, and then test connection, and hit OK, you see it will refuse. But now, if I test connection and I have to use a password that I probably know, so I'm just going to do that again, and hit OK, the connection is there. All right, so yeah, successfully made the MySQL connection. So the thing about this is I really wish that I could, use a connection without a password. So what I'm going to do here is manage connections, go to localhost. Then there's a point where I can edit this profile, this user. Okay, so I can see we have the schemas. Let's just go to the administration section. Maybe we just need to go to users and privileges, and then we can be able to see we have our root over here, and then we can see type a password to reset it. We can maybe get rid of all of that, get rid of all that, right? And then we apply. So it says consider using a password with 8 or more characters. So no password is set for this account. Now, if we come in here and go back to the schemas, or maybe even go back to connect to database, and then we try something, and then hit OK, it works. So essentially, now we can work with this, and let's go back to Hotelier, and then we try it again. And you can see the DB runs, right? That is one way to go about things. So now it tells us the next steps: review the comprehensive plan, track the roadmap. When ready to start, follow the implementation guide, and then track the progress using the to-do checklist. This planning phase is complete. You have a detailed blueprint to your Hotelier OS system from start to finish. So I can just tell it to let's start implementation. We'll come in here, let's start implementation. Everything is set. In the session lifetime, I like to do 43,200, which is like about 3 days, I guess. Queue connection is database, which is okay. We have the mail mailer. This is something I would like to change in the process, but all in all, we'll change that a bit later. Yeah, let's start implementation. We begin. So the implementation guide is here. Essentially, it's going to start with the Laravel permission. And I'm going to tell it instead of using Laravel permission, can we use the building? You know what? Let it use Laravel permission. I think we can go ahead with that because I mean it's an inbuilt system. Okay, actually, you know what? Instead of using Laravel permission, can we use something inbuilt? And as we move on, forward, could we use the what's this? Multiple authentication guards for the various departments, also using permissions. Also using permissions to be able to regulate access. Yeah, and I think that's something we can use. I think that's something we can do. Okay, let it resume the task. So it's going to fix that. It should delete what is already nested. You can even look at what Blackbox is thinking in the process here. So let me actually zoom out because you see now in terms of the overview, we can be able to see it much better from this particular point. Like as it continues to do all these different things. Like you can see it's populating the models that it creates. Of course, this needs to be deleted, but this is what we're going to be using, the department, permission, role, all those different things, right? Of course, there's some things that we'll fine tune on this first basis, like in terms of the backend. So essentially, we already have the departments fixed. Okay. So if we have the departments fixed, we don't need permission. We don't need the department model essentially, because all these other departments are hard coded. So we could actually ask Blackbox about that. So we could start by saying, let me actually even try voice input, right? So I see that we have a department model, but no. Okay, so it's initializing voice mode. Okay, so all the middleware is also being created at the moment. You can definitely see it's handling all of that all at once. So we have the check permission, we have the check rule, and we can actually monitor the to-dos to see which ones are the checklist. But yeah, it's doing all the to-dos, it's done everything. We have the check department. Okay. We can also upload images or videos, essentially. It's quite insane. Quite insane. Of course, it's registered the middleware themselves. Now it's registering the service providers. So now, like the blade directives, the gates, all those different things that are required to be registered. So that one has been modified very well. So this is it. As you can definitely see, this is the new stuff. And then it's also added the defaults. It's also added, all right. So it's added the blade directives for the has role, has any role, has all roles, has the permission. So at permission, it does something. So blade if has permission, blade if has any permission, has all permissions. And then those at directives are the ones that are usually populated after this is done. So that's a nice gate to have as well. Now it's doing the permissions and role seeders, right? So, and then it's also doing, so it's done the departments, now it's done the permissions, it's now doing the roles for each. So you can see for each department as department, now we have the permissions, now we have the, all those different things that are ready, which is quite nice. So now when you see this, it's already done now the departments, okay? Although I assumed that the departments would be hard-coded. Then we have the permissions. Then after the permissions, we now have all the roles, right? So all the roles depending on the departments and all that. So there's a super admin role, there's the admin department, there's all those different things. Um, yeah, and it syncs all the permissions for all these different departments and all. So the thinking, yeah, I like the way it's thinking. I like the movement that is keeping this thing in check. It's just that I imagined that if we don't use roles and permissions, and we use multiple authentication guards, the amount of data that is going to be queried is going to be a lot less, especially when we're looking at in-department, logins and things like that. But I don't know. Maybe you guys in the comment section could tell me what you actually think about how this entire system is being implemented. Because, as per what I'd imagine, is of course permissions are to be hard coded because there is various functions. The functions or the functionality of the system is not dependent on a database input. It's dependent on the actual abilities that are within the system. And then also on top of that, given that we already have a fixed number of departments, right? We have the front desk, procurement, restaurant, and kitchen fleet management. I wouldn't expect that I should be able to delete this particular item, right? So I don't think the departments are necessary. I also don't think the permissions table is necessary. Um, in any case, for each department, there should be a authentication guard. And for each permission, it should be hard coded into the system in such a manner that it allows for, like, let's say for instance, if you want to attach it to links and access points inside those web links inside those web routes. I wouldn't imagine that that is the way we could implement all of that. So actually, you know what? Let's try and initialize this voice mode. No, let's actually resume the task. Let's see what happens up until the point where we are done. Okay, so looks like it's done. Um, okay, so this is what I'm going to do. Yeah, I'm just going to try and tell it. So, um, in anticipation of all the departments that already exist, um, I wouldn't imagine it relying on a database entry to be able to exist, since the system, is hard coded, or rather, it should be having these departments by default. So I don't see why the departments model is necessary. Also, in the roles and permissions area, since the web.php link routes will use the permissions, gates, and middleware for entry into those, I would have much rather preferred that the permissions into the system be hard coded in a config file, and then the roles table have a JSON for those permissions attached to the users in a one. We should essentially say one to many instead of many to many, right? To keep it small, essentially, because you see the roles are many. Then you'd imagine that if the roles are many, then it means that if you're going to try and filter the permissions, you're going to have to map them together, which would definitely cause a big time complexity. So one to many, or a many to many, whichever has less time complexity when querying the permissions. And then, you see, now we've already dealt with roles and permissions. Now, when we're coming to deal with roles and permissions, after doing that, all the other authentication per per department should also have their own roles tables, e.g. kitchen roles, office, and I think I'll just wrap this inside brackets, and then just as they would have their own users, then we'll open this and say e.g. kitchen front office stroke users. Let's see what happens there. I hit enter. What's the big deal? Okay, let's switch to another. Let's try switch to another one. Let's try to switch to Claude Sonnet, or Claude Sonnet. I don't know how to pronounce that. 3.5 or 4.5, whichever. And we can close this and open it again. I'm not getting it. I don't understand why. Okay, so looks like we're closing this and we're opening it again. Okay, let's try resume the task. Okay, let me tell it using voice again. Let me try and use voice again. But let's just finish this task. Let's see at what point does it stop. Damn, but it's doing a lot of documentation, that's for sure. Initializing voice mode. It's looking like voice mode is not working, honestly. Okay, so I'm going to close this and open it again. Let's see what happens. Okay, so looks like I'll have to tell it again, right? So I will just tell it that given that departments, I don't see the need for the departments column. I would imagine that each department that I outlined should have its own separate module and therefore sort of hard coded in that they should all have their own users and their own roles table. Furthermore, on the roles section, I would also imagine permissions being hard coded in a config file, since the functionalities of this system are fixed and can't be deleted just from eliminating a database data from the DB. What do you think? All right. So it tells me you're 100% correct. Here's why your approach is better. So advantages of a config-based approach: performance, no database queries for permissions, version control, deployment, type safety, clarity, no orphaned data. Great. Now, let me refactor the system to use config files for departments and permissions, enums for type safe. Yeah, Blackbox has a question, right? So your approach is superior. Departments are fixed, permissions are fixed, benefits, right? So now the question is refactoring plan. Create config files for permissions and departments. Should I proceed with this refactoring? Maybe create models for each department in terms of the users and the roles, as well as setting them up for authentication codes, e.g. housekeeper, house being roles, and have in configs roles. So that way, when a housekeeper logs in their own module, they have a completely separate dashboard from the admins, the accountants, the front office staff, etc. It should understand now. And you'd better not use controllers since we are coding using Livewire. Because I've just spotted, like in this RBSA implementation, I saw something to do with controllers somewhere here. I knew it. It is here. Right? We have middleware. Now, after that middleware, we have... There's some controllers areas that are here somewhere. I'm so certain that that's what it's using, controllers. So in terms of the core principles, this is it. Yes, yes. That's exactly what I need. And it's identified it completely. This structure that has been provided, like even in the models, it's been provided exactly the way I intended it for it. So like you can see admin, this admin user, admin role, front office user, front office role, housekeeping user, housekeeping role, there's that particular essence of everything. Now another thing here is that for this admin, the admin user and admin role. So let's see. There's a question that's being produced over here. So I've created a comprehensive refactored architecture document. Let me just zoom out over here so that we can read it. That addresses all your requirements. What is included? Isolated department modules. There's a keeping user, housekeeping role. So you can see front office, housekeeping, restaurant, kitchen, fleet, security, accounting, HR. Right now, when we come here and see config-based permissions defined. There's config, permissions, housekeeping. That is not a database. That doesn't have a database, right? So each config, like you can see, there's a config. There should be a config file somewhere here, right? And each file, like config, permissions, housekeeping, you can see there. So there'll be permissions. Then there's so there's config, then there's a permissions folder, then there's admin, front office, housekeeping, restaurant, kitchen, fleet, security, accounting, HR. And then we have Livewire 4 components. So we have Livewire admin, dashboard, front office, housekeeping, and then all those. Then there'll be layouts for admin, front office, housekeeping, restaurant, kitchen, fleet, security, and accounting. Of course, the database schemas will include all of those. And then now we have all those different items. Now, there's something that I saw when it came to also getting those particular UI differences. Like for instance, I wouldn't expect that because now we're using Livewire 4, of course, yes, but I wouldn't now expect that we're using this Flux card, right? So Flux card, of course, shouldn't be something that we're using because our Flux is not the paid version. Ideally, also, we can see that there's all these different things. So the key benefits, of course, it's faster, it's type safe, it's version controlled, isolated, and Livewire 4, etc. Next steps, your decision. A, proceed with full refactoring. I'll implement this new architecture, remove all database tables, create all models, migrations configs, set up Livewire components, estimated time 2 to 3 hours of work. Option B, start with one department. No, that's not an option. Option C, discuss further. You have questions or concerns, you want to modify the approach. So please answer the question. Which one would you prefer? Option A, please. And let's implement all of that. Nice. So one thing I've realized that it's not doing the way I anticipated is that it's not just hard coding the permissions, it's also hard coding the roles as well, right? So that is one thing that we need to also escape. And then another thing is, as much as you see, we are creating the models as well. We're creating the models for each and every single department, right? We're creating the roles table. We're also creating the users. So what I would tell it to do is, I can see not only, okay, let's cancel this first. So I can see not only are you dealing with the permissions in the config files, but you are also doing the roles and putting permissions under those roles. I wish for there to only be the permissions in these files. And also, yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Perfect. It understands. It understands what we're trying to do here. It understands what we're trying to do, and it's executing it perfectly. I think we're moving very, very well. Great. This is looking fantastic, honestly. This is looking nice. And the more I try as much as I can to integrate every single idea that I have over here, this also opens room for more expansion of these ideas. Like, just imagine we have all these different departments in this one particular system that is going to be deployed in one company. What happens next, right? Each department will have its own mobile app. Yeah, essentially, you don't have to log in through the browser. You don't have to also see the concerns of maybe say you can log into the restaurant as long as you have credentials. No, every app that is present can work simultaneously. I think this is the way to go. Honestly, that's the way to go. And this being as big as it is, I really think that is essentially what could happen. The execution of this could really determine so many different things. This is great. This is perfect. Everything it's looking good. All right, so we have the admin role. Like, if we go ahead and collapse everything over here, we can be able to see all the different things that are happening over here. For instance, let's go back to the models, right? We have admin, then there's admin role, admin user. Of course, all these other files that are being created over here are not going to be used. So we'll get rid of them, essentially. We'll get rid of them. But when we look at everything that's happening over here, the middleware, essentially, we just need those three. Yeah, we just need the three of them. Actually, even this check department needs to get out. It should automatically be able to be distinguished based off of, like, let's say, for instance, the authentication guards that are already going to be set up, things like that. And essentially, Claude Sonnet, I think, would have worked a lot better. I know Blackbox is really good with UI, but Claude Sonnet is just overpowered when it comes to backend and creating these files and being able to monitor everything, seeing the changes. This it's just that powerful. So you can see even our restaurant user is being completed. This is the restaurant user model. Then it should create also the databases for all of that. So like let's say if we look at the database migrations, we have HR users and roles, we have the kitchen, the housekeeping, all those different things, those users and roles. Once we've set that up, let's say set those barriers up, now is when we start setting up the databases for all the other different functionalities, like managing fleets, like managing inputs and outputs, procurement, all those different things. And procurement is going to be very, very, very subtle because procurement it's something that there's so much that goes into it in terms of like also monitoring other stores, and it's not just um, the stores of the procurement, the central store. But yeah, I mean there's so many different items that need to be dealt with essentially. Like, nah. Let's just work this out slowly, because this is a very big system. This is a very, very, very big system, and for those guys who are going to be coming in to create it with us, um, yo, it's going to be something very, very huge. And as we are coding this with AI, you see the prompt essentially, the only thing that will probably bar you from understanding everything that is going on over here and in everything that we are building is the capability to understand my vision, right? And the only thing that I could probably be able to do right now at this very point is to draw it out for you, so that we can be able to understand what is going on in the back of every single thing that's going on over here. And then you can also check out like this. These are essentially the. This is essentially all the prompts that I'm using, and you just need to learn how to prompt the AI in the process, and also understand, monitor what is it doing, and is this essentially how you envision your system to work. But also, all the same, you need to also have a basic understanding of how the system works. That's the most crucial bit of it all, how the system works. If you need to hard code some things, like let's say for instance, let's we go to the HR role, you have to outline the table, right? If you have to outline the table, yeah, just outline it, right? And don't be confused and then find yourself doing it all of a sudden again. Like right now, it's already finished our models, it's already finished our database tables, and all those different things are working out. So now the next thing that it's going to do is it's going to now try and create for us our what's this? Our Livewire components as well. But now I'm also going to ask it is if it's deleted all the files that are not in use. So like let's say for instance this app models accounting, is it going to delete it? Is it going to delete this department model? Is it going to is it going to remove all those? So I'm going to say you. Um, so I'm just going to basically ask it which files are not in use. So it's asking us. Okay, so there's a question here from Blackbox AI. Yeah. Since this is a backend architecture, I have two testing options. There's option one. There's the critical path. Then there's the thorough testing. Then there's the skip testing for now. So option three, of course. Um, so skip testing for now. Which files are not in use? I wish for them to be trashed. So let me check which files from the original Laravel starter kit are no longer needed with our refactored architecture. We have the app models user, app concerns. So concerns is not going to be used anymore, right? Is it? Yeah, the department permissions, all right. So then there's the migrations, all right. This user, I'm not sure about trashing this one, right? I'm not really sure about this one. The reason I'm saying I'm not sure is because, this particular user could be used in place of the admin side of things, right? So we could have the role, we have the user, then we have the department and permission files deleted. Okay, so department and permission gone. Um, yeah, you can see that. This is what they're saying, right? The app models user is replaced by department specific user models, department specific role models, department specific, replaced by config based, replaced by department enum. And then now we move on forward. So now it's going to delete all those files. Insane. It's actually insane that we're not going to be using the users table, but it's fine. I think not having to use the users table is quite okay. Um, yeah, I think it's quite okay, honestly. There's also another file somewhere here. So there's the house rules. There's also the models to be a duplicate. This one should go. And then there's app enums department. So this is the new architectures. So what needs to go? This needs to go. Those other files have gone. Um, I think we're good to go. And essentially, there's some files also that are here that I don't understand why they're here. I can see also some files in the root directory, like the what is this? Copy relative path. Where did it look? Where did it look? We see. Yeah, it's gone. I didn't need AI to do that for me, but I mean, yeah, whatever. Yeah, the cleanup was successful. Okay, so now that we've done some of all of these items, right? Let's ensure like we have something tangible to walk into the next video with. And for that to happen, we need to come in, like let's say for instance, we have this, right? Over here in this area over here, right? We need to have maybe say squares, all right, for each and every single department. When we click on a square, we'll be able to log in, right? So this is what's going to happen. In the home directory, is it finished? Should be finished. Yeah, I think I'll leave and close all. And then I'll say in the home page stroke directory. In the home/page directory, we need, you know, card selection for each department. And once we click on a department, it takes us to the login page of that department. And once we click on a department, it takes us to the login page of that department. What else? All except for the admin. Then there's something else that I need to also add here. Create all these in single file Livewire components. So they're no longer called Vault components, they're called single file Livewire components. And, use the structure of the old scaffolded Livewire login, reset password, etc. for all the departments. So now, in essence, I'm telling it to now just create the Livewire structures. so that we can be able to essentially push this forward. In the meantime, I'm going to open this up and do NRD, and then there's definitely another Blackbox terminal that's here. Then this one is also another one. So I'm just going to come in here, refresh this, and it will change everything in the process. So this is essentially what it's going to do. There's authentication guards for everything. You can say authentication guard housekeeping. And if we look at the guards, actually, if we go to app and then we go to providers, not providers, actually, Bootstrap. Wait, where is it? Yeah, it's config auth. You look at the guards inside in the auth file. So we have the guards of web, admin, front office, housekeeping, restaurant, kitchen, fleet, security, accounting, HR. All these they're all using the same session driver. We all have admin users, front office users, housekeeping users, all using different items. Then we have passwords as well. Then we also have the password timeout, which is fine. As you can see, everything is working. So it's creating a login page for each and every one of these. I'm sure it's also going to take some of the password resets from somewhere. There was auth over here. So there's the login, there's the register, there's the reset password, two-factor challenge, verify email, confirm password. They're all supposed to be there. They're all supposed to be there. And it's also going to take from layouts, auth, which is this one here. So now it's either use auth simple, auth card. I can switch between the two, and then I can also edit that card if I want, or if I do the simple, if I want to edit it. The only thing that's not been generally edited is the web routes. Let's hope it does everything for us to full on completion. That one is complete. This is the admin one. So now it's creating routes called departments over here. Then it's going to register those routes. It should register those routes in the providers. Well, yeah, makes sense. So now that has been changed, look at this. Taking some time to load. Of course, it's going to throw an error in the process. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what happens next. In essence, this shouldn't be what is going on. Because from what I'm seeing, when we go to the department selector, it's extending, let's see, department selector is extending a vault component. That shouldn't be the case, because if we go back here and look at the components file, you can see Livewire component, new class extends component. So we'll repeal this. We'll see what goes on. Even this one, same thing. Extends component. This component shouldn't be vault component. So I'll just ask it a very simple question. Is there let me see. Let me think of what to do. It's either I could edit this myself or just have AI look into it again. But if I do it myself, high likelihood is that it will move faster. So let's just finish all that so that we can see if the authentication flow has followed the exact way that I will wish to go about things. No, you know what? Let's use AI for everything. In a case where somebody doesn't understand what's going on. Because essentially what I just need to do is replace Livewire Vault component with Livewire component. Damn, and this thing creates a lot of MDs. It creates a lot of markdowns. A lot. First of all, class this not found. Fix this. So I'll tell it to fix this first, and but document in .md files. Let's see what Blackbox is gonna think. Okay, I need to install Livewire Vault. Let me check composer.json and install it. Yeah, we don't need Livewire Vault. in Livewire version 4. I'll just change them manually. It looks like AI is ticking the piece. Let's just do this, yeah? We'll come in here and delete that, and also delete everything that comes after this. You can definitely see that we have this use Livewire Vault component over here. So instead of Livewire Vault component, I'm going to just copy this, paste it here, and then delete all that, right? Now, I'm not going to edit this one, but every other one that is here, I'm going to edit. So coming to count all of that, we're just going to come and, replace the 10 occurrences. And once we do that, the component is working, right? So now once we come and do that, we refresh this. So using this when not in object context for each of these departments as department. So that is coming in from here. This department as department. Yet, you can see up enums department. You can definitely see that it's working. Public function departments. It says return collect. But if there's one thing that needs to be done here is that this is computed. I don't know. In fact, you know what? Given that I can upload images, I'm going to do that. And then come in here, close this. I'll come in here and paste it here, and then send the message. Let's see if it actually understands what we're running into. Have a component. We're using render. That's shocking. Oh, that makes sense now. But one thing that I've just realized is that it's not updating the way we'd expect it to update. Like you see, this is the Livewire component. We're using single file components, right? So if we're using single file components, okay, yeah, there's this. So I'm just going to come in here. Black box is gone. So this screenshot is from the documentation of the. Okay, and now let's just try this, yeah? Let's try admin login. See if that works. All right. Looks like where we are at, it's gotten to refactor it back to what it was before. The only problem that I'm running into is, okay, we have this HTML right here. And it's adamant in trying to use the common component class, yet we do not have Livewire over here. So how do we go about this? You know, how do we go about ensuring that whatever department cases that are going to be used over here are what is going to be delivered on this particular side? Well, essentially, what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to create a layout for the homepage, right? And this homepage layout, you can come in here and you can see we have app, we have auth. With app, at least we have a certain level of understanding up until that point. So what we're going to do here is, instead of trying to import our HTML over here and all those different things, with this selector, we can just get rid of all this HTML up until this point. And this admin link and all that stuff, right? Up until this point, we just have a central div to start with. And then once we have that central div to start with, at least with the context that is there, we can now monitor what is going on over here. So now we have this enum, and there's a particular department display name error that is causing the problem here. So I'm just going to come in here and do that, call to undefined method. now, once we have this call to undefined method up enums department display name, the reason why that error is there is because of it can't display the name from the department. So essentially, this enum is at this point here. It's gone. It's gone. So when we come in here and check all those options, the display name is not there. But when we look at what is going on over here, like in terms of the names that are there, like you can see, we have the case that is there, and then when we have the label, actually it should be label, right? It should be label. There's another part that's calling for the display name as well. Department route, icon. This should be enough actually. I don't know why it's calling for display name. I think the app Livewire department selector. Oh yeah, it's calling for it here, right? So all these delete. Also this and this should all be deleted. And once we've deleted that, invalid root action apply by department selector. Of course, the reason why that is the case is because of this part over here. So what it's doing, instead of now that's inside where is it? This part over here, right? So instead of the action, that should be what it's doing. So now you can see using this when not in object context is the problem. And the object context in this situation should be a Livewire situation, right? So like, let's say for instance, if I do admin login, it works essentially. But you see now with this admin login, the way that it's plotting out the routes is not the way we would want it to be. So if we wanted to, and of course, because we're using a lot of the what's this thing called? I keep on forgetting the layouts, right? So we have this layout, we have the app layout somewhere. So we have Livewire, we have all those different things. When you do the layouts over here, should be also intrinsically given, right? So when we come in here and do new, we'll have to put in this layout, and then we'll do layouts, and then we'll do auth. So this is for the admin login page. If we refresh this, it should work. And this is where now I think what is going on here is the amount of usage for Blackbox is complete. I'm sure it's doing a 404 because I've used it too much. This is the beauty about using multiple AI models, right? You can switch to another one, right? So I'll come in here and I'll point out something over here. I'll go to hotelier.test, and then I'll print screen to copy this screenshot. And then when I do that, of course, I'll paste it here. Please look into this. It looks like it's finding the issues very quickly, it seems. And look at how fast Claude Code is moving. This goes to show you a few things actually. Look at how fast Claude Code is really moving. Found several issues. Let me check the actual Livewire component classes or if these are vault components. And you can see Claude Code is moving in the precision with Laravel Boost. Now it's actually requested for Laravel Boost search docs. And yeah, and these are the documentation search results, all the things that are required. And I found the issues. The routes are using the old Livewire 3 pattern, Livewire 4. The recommended approach is to use route livewire instead of closures with review returns. So it's going to remove the unused and it's going to deal with them the way they need to be dealt with. And then you can see it's reloading them. Now let's see what happens next here. Yes, perfect. So route dashboard not defined. It's moving well. And we're moving very, very, very well. And this is why I prefer Claude Code, honestly. Blackbox, well done, but Claude Code is the way. Okay, with all those changes that have been documented, I couldn't even tell that Claude Code, it's finished everything already. Like, go to routes, go to departments, look at that. Now, when we go to admin login, you can see we have this also, route dashboard not defined. We can just come in here and paste this here real quickly. Yeah, it's doing it well. Look at how fast it's moving. I just told it update the login routes to use the auth layouts as well. It's moving. It's just moving. It's reading all of these things simultaneously. Wait for it. All the edits are just going to just be cha 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 cha. And look at that, the to-dos. Look at that. Instantly. Housekeeping login, same thing. Restaurant login. Look at that. Those edits, they're just coming in. Very quickly. That will update the to-dos. And it's working on them simultaneously. You can definitely see those dots, they're all blinking at the same time. Let's see the to-dos, they're updated. It should show green now after it's done those edits. Yeah, once it shows green, then the to-dos updates all of them all at the same time. Yeah, there we go. And then it gives me a report afterwards. Perfect, all the to-dos using auth layout. Now once I refresh this, it should work. Oh, it's not even doing that with the admin. I think the admin should have done that already. Sort of a sticky situation here, unless it's not updating. Very sticky situation. I don't know what's going on here. If I did this, what would happen? Yeah, then it's now going to try and attempt to read the property name. So essentially what should happen here is maybe we need to come in here and just try to PHP artisan, and I think this PA works, yeah. So PHP artisan view clear, because maybe it cached the views, yeah. Yeah, it must have cached the views. Very interesting. It must have cached the views, and if it's caching the views, then it's going to maintain all that. So let's see what we have here. This department selector is what's really giving me a headache. Maybe clearing the routes as well. So there's something that's happening. Maybe even the auth page here. I don't know. So still the same problem. That was not the issue. So revert and try something else. Oh yeah, we never published the livewire config. That's also something to look out for. Okay. So that's not the issue. So if that's not the issue, by the way, got rid of the users model from the system, please follow that it is not affecting anything in this. So they want to remove the web guard from the users provider and the auth config. They want to comment out the Fortify actions. They also want to check for any test files that need updating. So the best thing that I think we should do, what if the admin module was replaced by the default users and roles that used the admin permissions in the admin in the permissions config permissions admin file. That way we get back the users table and then we use that as the admins. So it's asking if it's department specific user models. No. I'm only focused on changing the admin user to user, and admin role to role. And then we can keep the user as well as change the flush out the admin. The good thing about typing and pressing that, it adds that command and to the whole situation. Yeah, and it's added the to do as well. And I think I'll just check the usage of this. Now, this is the beauty about this. Also, you can check the usage of Claude AI, and that is the beauty about that. With Blackbox, I can check. I wasn't able to check the usage whatsoever. The thing that I don't understand is, yes, we've refactored everything to now come back to the users table, but now when I'm loading the main homepage, which is this department selector, it's not doing anything. Like if I did this, if I did if I decided that I don't know, if I decided that now inside departments, right, everything that is here, that the department selector homepage gets out, then we'll have the 404. Now, when we go back to the web routes and then paste it over here, we'll come and refresh this and we have that. But now, when you come in here and just do this, this is the department selector, fine. The department selector is like this, with the layouts auth, like this. What if we did layout home? Still no error. What if we did, because I know for sure, if I got rid of a few things, for instance, these are the department card grids. This is a full-on Livewire component. If I just decided to do get that, and then the action should be what should be return or function. The function is to return the view Livewire department selector. Essentially, this is how it will be looking. Very plain, very blank, right? If I decided to do welcome and refresh this, we have the welcome page. So what if this welcome page, I decided to put in the department selector with this welcome page? Like if I decided that, okay, you see, I could delete this welcome page, and I decided that, okay, let's put a Livewire component. So I'll just do PHP artisan make Livewire, and then I'll say home. So now we have make Livewire. I've created the Livewire component. So I'll come in here into views components. Ooh, so you can see what is, all right, I see. So it's views components. Then we have, okay. The department selector is here, and the home component is here. So all of these others, jeez. Okay, so I see what's going on here. If we come into Livewire, the resource components, the resource path is not in views Livewire, and also the component locations is also not. It's views components and views Livewire. So views Livewire is here, and views components has views components and Livewire, which is okay. Then the component layout is here, layouts app. The component placeholder is this, and then we can see make command. The make command uses the SFC with emojis and all that stuff, right? So here's the thing with the department selector here, then essentially everything that I've done here should be done. And once I do that, And then I replace this here, right? So I'll come in here and just do all that mumbo jumbo, save that, refresh. Now you can see a different error. So Livewire page component layout view not found, layouts home. This is it, right? Livewire page component layout view not found, layouts home. Where did I put layouts home again? So you can see this is the department selector that we're using, and it's not going to be this one anymore. So I'm just going to delete this one. This is the department selector we're using. This is the home page that is also going to be used. When I go back to the department selector, layout home is what we're using here. So what if we decided to create a layout, and this layout is going to be home.blade.php, and then this home layout is going to just use the same as the auth simple. So now once you do that, essentially it should work. So now I have all these selections, and now I can tell this Claude to now do it for me differently. What was it doing differently? Well, I can now tell it to go ahead, and this is where we are. This is where we are right now. Go to the layout home file, create layout that would be suitable for the department's selection. And we move. Now let's see what kind of edits it's going to do. Oh, this looks good. Now, views Livewire department selector. Okay, it's found it. So, do the icons work? If they are Lucid icons, maybe run an installation command for all of them. Now, there's something else that I didn't also take note of is the routing bit of it. Like, for instance, let's see, where's the routing? Of course, we're using Flux, yeah, but I just installation, I think. Yeah, this is it. So you can see Livewire set update route. You can see that point over here. But then there's something else that I was also really wary of is the actual original routing. When we go to, let's actually just check this routing to components. Yeah, you can see this when accessing route parameters, right? You can see this part over here, pages, show post. This one will show what is in pages, right? The pages folder. There is route model binding seriously being placed over here. But now, instead of putting it inside pages, because we also have, you see, there's to route to the component over here, pages post create. We have it inside the pages folder. We just close that here. Resources, views. So we have pages somewhere here. So there's all of that. So inside components, I would much rather we do components. Wait, allow this bash command. Yeah, I think now I understand there is something that is going on over here. So inside admin we have the login. So but these others, fleet, dashboard, flux, sorry, not flux, but front office, dashboard, housekeeping, all those should all be dragged into here. But so far so good, I guess. Like at least we're here, we'll go to front office. I don't know if the front office login works. Then back to department selection, housekeeping login, yeah, it works. Back to department selection. All of that works, essentially. And the routes that are there are inside Livewire. This is the command that we're going to give this, and let's just keep attentive, right? Okay, let's do it like this. The dashboard routes for all the departments are outside the files where the components, the Livewire components, are expected, is could you merge them into the files where the login blade files, and in turn put the login files in the login blade files inside an auth folder nested in the folder that it already is. That way, when we come into accounting, we have the login here. So it's accounting auth, then login. Then we move admin login to admin auth folder. So yes, allow all edits, of course. So you can see it's creating that auth. It's going to create auth, auth, auth everywhere. Then moves this login into the auth. So the login, you can see inside the auth. Then it moves the dashboard files. So cd resources, So it's going to do all of that with all of these files, like this one, 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 and this one. And then after that, it moves the dashboard Livewire components to each department. So you can see make Livewire admin dashboard. We have admin dashboard is here. But it's going to, but I think for those ones, it's going to create it inside the components. Yeah, it's going to create it inside components. And delete the unused dashboard blade files. That is another command that I'll have it do. And it's going to delete them. Where are they? So this one. So even the empty folders, that is something that also needs to go. Great. And I think we are all good. So this is what I'm going to tell it. Now, I don't like when we have separated the auth files from far from where the dashboard files are. So could we move the auth components to be in the corresponding views? Is it views, components, department? And I'm sure it is going to update it accordingly. So you can see accounting, then we have dashboard, we have login. But this is the thing. In those component files, the login should also be nested in auth. So let it finish compacting. We see what's going on next. And usage, we're at 73%. So we're moving well. The next time usage, it will be reset in an hour. So it's going to be reset in by 9 o'clock, I think. And then we can move on forward from that point. It looks like things are moving very, very, very well. Great stuff. So this is how it looks. Yeah, we have the department selector, we have the home component. Okay, of course this home blade.php goes because we're not using that. We have these other sub components like the app logo, the department selector. You know, there's the auth header, the authentication session, the desktop menu, the placeholder pattern, things like that, right? All these are fantastic, spectacular. And now inside the components, we have everything, right? Where in every single component, we have a dashboard. We have dashboard here, we have dashboard there, we have dashboard everywhere. I think essentially we just now need to have a sidebar for all of these. So in order for us to have a sidebar for all of these, we need to have, for each department, we have something to look at, right? So I'll essentially just tell it. So just like the app.blade.php has sidebar.blade.php, every department except admin should have their e.g. front office.blade or front office layout.blade.php to front office sidebar.blade.php, and the admin one uses the default app.blade.php. That is another section that we need to also add into that. And yeah, that's exactly what I wanted it to do. So it's going to create a folder, front office, HR, kitchen, yada, yada, yada. All of that will be placed in here, will be home free. Yes. Greatness, ladies and gentlemen. We are at the tail end of the introduction video of how far we've gotten. So essentially, this is what we've done. We've created a few things here and there. The blade templates especially. So let me just close these and show you the files themselves, right? So we have the components, okay? These components have the auth components, that's login, and the dashboard, okay? We have that for the accounting, we have for admin, we have for fleet, front office, housekeeping, HR, kitchen, restaurant, security, and then we have a department selector, which is the main homepage of this particular application. Great. So now once we move on from this point, right, we have the department selector, fine, okay. We select the department that we want to log into, front office, for instance. We'll select front office, we'll go on to the front office login, and we'll log in as a front office person. Now, I just wish to create seeders for all these different kinds of users with, with different emails, but the same password, right? I will probably prompt that. But now once we log in, let's say, right, there's no registration, there's nothing of the sort. If I was to have my way, I will tell this AI also to come into pages and copy the confirm password, forgot password, reset, two-factor challenge, and the verify. So this is how I will do it if I had my way, right? Now to the resources stroke pages, copy and the auth for each, copy the auth files, confirm password, then there's forgot password, etc, except for register. Yeah, that makes sense, right? etc except for register. Then do the same for settings. Do these for all departments, and yeah, I think we're good to go, because also settings has the same situation, right? Essentially, that's it. So each profile essentially has to have its own settings as well that are attached to that particular login. So it's like I'm creating 6 different Laravel applications in one, essentially. And all of them are using the same level of authentication, right? But they are completely separated concerns, although they're going to be feeding in the same data. So if I go ahead and look at look at components and then go to accounting, you can be able to see auth, login. Then we have settings, two-factor is going to be created. I'm just going to come in here and just say yes for all of these. And you can see we have confirm password, but this confirm password is going to use the authentication guard of the authentication guard of the accounting, as well as it should use that, right? So if you can look at layouts auth, forgot password, we have reset password, two-factor challenge, verify email. All right, so now it notes something, yeah? It says all the files are copied to admin, front office, housekeeping, restaurant, kitchen, fleet, security, accounting, HR. Note, these files will need to be updated with department-specific routes and guards to function properly with each department's authentication system. So I'll just tell it now, update those files to function, update those files with department-specific routes, guards, and configs to function properly. Departments authentication system, just as you did with the login. Boom. And now we're good to go. Looks like we've hit the limits, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like we've hit the limits. Resets at 9 a.m., just as I anticipated. But we will proceed on with the next one. Please do indeed stay tuned. And as always, this has been Yanuba Codes. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you guys in the next one. Please do indeed take care. And as always, may God bless.